We're reading every Spider-Man ever, and this is Amazing Spider-Man issue 58. Unlike what you might have suspected last issue, Spider-Man is not dead. Kazar has used his jungle senses to detect that our hero now lives, and so he uses his saber-toothed tiger, Zabu, to distract the police while he swings Spidey to safety. On a rooftop, Kazar mentions Jameson, the man that hired him to hunt Spidey, and Spider-Man comes to, angry to hear the name. But wait, he knows the name? He has his memory back. It seems that hitting the water with enough of a shock to the system that it cured his amnesia. He explains all of this to Kazar, who uses his jungle senses to know that Spidey speaks the truth, and then Kazar leaps down and away to the streets below to give the police a lecture on guns and leaves with Zabu. Meanwhile, Jonah gets a phone call from Professor Smythe, the man that built Spider Slayers, and elsewhere, Jonah Jameson has deployment orders and wishes Captain Stacy well. He's sorry that he can't stay to clear Spider-Man's name. And elsewhere again, at the hospital, Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn are watching over Aunt May, who keeps calling for Peter in her sleep. And back with Jonah again, and he's meeting with Smythe to see his brand new Spider Slayer. It can track a lone spider scent in the middle of a jungle and is stronger than ever before. But don't worry, Jonah, it will capture Spider-Man. The Slayer in the name is just for dramatic effect. Jonah agrees to bankroll the robot, and his face appears as he begins to pilot it. Meanwhile and elsewhere, Spider-Man hitches a ride home on the top of a bus and is about to get changed when his spider sense goes off. He puts his mask back on and he looks outside to find a Spider Slayer walking up the wall after him, with Jonah's face leering at him. Spidey tries to kick the Slayer, but it does very little damage, and he narrowly avoids a heavy punch in return. When he tries to flee, the Slayer shoots a laser at him, but there's a second voice that doesn't belong to Jonah. Someone else in the background. It's Smythe, who has taken over the Slayer from Jonah and wants a more serious end to Spidey. The Slayer chases Spider-Man across a wall and forces open a door to get to Spidey inside. But Spider-Man tricks Smythe into shooting at the beams above them, bringing the roof down on the Slayer. Not enough to destroy the robot, but enough to give Spidey time to look Smythe up in the phone book. With the information he needs, Spider-Man flees across town, while Jonah realizes that he's working with a madman who never wanted to just capture Spidey. Smythe just wanted revenge. Spider-Man reaches a house, and Smythe gloats over the screen. They're not even at that house. They're in Jonah's office, and that means Spidey is trapped. But when Smythe goes to attack with his Spider Slayer, it's unresponsive. When he cranks it up to full power, the Spider Slayer explodes. Spider-Man expected that it was sensing his spider impulse, and he took a guess that by adding in hundreds more spiders, like the kind found at Smythe's house, he might overload the system. And he was right. And Jonah kicks Smythe out of his office, threatening to call the police. Finally, back at home, Peter Parker tries calling his aunt, but there's no answer. She'd never stay out this late. So he grabs his clothes and he leaves to find her, bumping into a strange man on the street below and his saber-toothed tiger, who seem a little confused. They were sure that they'd sensed Spider-Man. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. There are new issues released every Thursday, and if you subscribe and hit the bell, YouTube will tell you when they drop. You can also support this channel on Patreon and get some bonus content, as well as all of these videos early, and your name in the credits, just like these people. Next week, Spider-Man teams up with Daredevil to fight the Fantastic Four?